Good morning, friends, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. I'm the maker behind this little corner of the internet. I'm a knitter living in Denver, Colorado with my family, and this is just my little corner of the internet where I share with you how knitting and other fiber crafts have woven into my life. Today is going to be one of my podcast episodes. It is episode 74 of my podcast, where I share with you typically finished objects, works in progress, things that I want to be working on. However, today, it's been about 2 months since I last had a podcast. I've done some other videos in between. I've done some like Vlogmas recaps in January. I focused a lot on organizing my stash and goals I had for 2025. And so today, when I was set to record this podcast episode, it just felt really daunting. You know, once a time passes and a task can just feel like it gets bigger and bigger. And since I haven't done a podcast in about 2 months, I was like, I really don't even know what I've finished since I last did a podcast. It'd take a lot of like digging things out, a lot of compiling of details. So I decided we're just going to go easy. So today we're just going to do a WIP Roundup. I'm going to show you all the projects that are on my needles as of today. I'm filming at the beginning of February. So basically any finished objects that have happened over the last couple months, I'm just going to skip over because for me, the world has been it's been a stressful week out in the real world. So I just wanted to settle in today, come to this cozy corner, and I just want to focus on yarns, things that are making me happy, and just, tune out everything and just focus on some knitting and some fun stuff for however long this video is. So I hope that's something that sounds interesting to you. If it is, I hope you have something to work on, something to drink, settle in. The vibes I want to channel for this video today is just cozy and just some inspiration. Like, let's dive into the whips that I have. Let's see what I've been working on, what I have going, and let's find some inspiration here today. Before we dive in though, we'll do some admin. Everything is down in the description box. I have links to all my Ravelry project pages. I add chapter codes so you can skip around. You can find links to my Ravelry down there and all my social medias, Instagram, Lewsky, I'm DoSoKnits everywhere, and on Ravelry. So DoSoKnits on all of those, including here on YouTube. I also have one more admin thing at the beginning that I'd like to talk about. We are going to be doing a giveaway today. I just want to put a little bit of happiness and wool out into the universe. So I recently got a package from Salty Blonde Fibers. I had ordered some yarn, and in that package she threw in a skein for me to give away to all of you. So this is a sock set by Salty Blonde Fibers. I love the speckles that Ryan can get. I think they are so tiny and beautiful. So this is a sock set. It doesn't have the base on it, but if I know, it's probably a superwash merino and nylon blend, and then there's the 20 gram mini skein to go with it. So if you would like to enter to win this, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, and then down in the description box I'm going to link to a Google form. I'm going to try that instead of doing the comments from the bottom. So fill out that Google form. I'll have some questions in there. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I'll get some contact details from you for that. Also leave me a comment because I love reading the comments. But to enter in for this, fill out that Google form. I'll get your contact details from there, and then with that I will reach out to the winner in a couple of weeks, probably around Valentine's Day, mid-February, mid to late February. I'll reach out letting the winner know if they've won, and I will get this sent out to you. I hope you love this. I hope it brings a little bit of joy into your life, and I can't wait to see what you make with it. It's such a beautiful skein. Like I said, I love the speckles that Ryan can obtain. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So yes, give away this episode. Make sure you are subscribed. Check out that Google form link down below. And with that, let's move into all the works in progress I have right now. So I have gathered all my works in progress from various different places. I have a basket in the living room. I have one of these African market baskets, which has all my current knitting works in progress in it. So I think I'm just gonna go through this. We'll pull out each project as it comes, and then I do have some spinning and embroidery projects also that are not specifically in this basket. They have their own baskets. But I think what I'll start with is the project that has gotten the most of my attention over the past week or so. All right, so this project is living in a firefly tote that I made with these really cute mushrooms on it. I love this bag. I need more sweater size bags, honestly, because this is one of the few that I have that works well with sweater sizes. I don't have many bags that are large enough to hold sweaters. But the project that is in here is the Study Session by Samantha Guerin. It is a pattern that I am currently test knitting. It should be out mid-February, so this month. At the point of time that I am recording this right now, I have about 1 week left until the test knit is done. So I've really been loving this project and I'm very excited to show it to you, but it is a little big and large right now. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my bust form out, I'm gonna pop it on there, and then we'll chat about it. Okay, so I hope that you can see it okay. It is this dark olivey green color, so it's quite overcast today here in Denver for usually very sunny. The fact that we have an overcast day is not typical. So we're working with the lighting that I have. I might do some close-ups so you can see some of this detail a little bit better. But I've made really great progress on this project over the last month or so. And I'm on like the finishing touches, final pieces of work to do, which is good considering I only have about a week left. Let me adjust this a little bit. So this is a pattern that I'm currently testing for Samantha Guerin, as I mentioned. I am knitting the size 5, which is a 48-inch finished bust circumference. The yarn that I am using is, I love this yarn. I love it so much. This is Reply Rambouillet, and this is by Brooklyn Tweed. It's a DK weight yarn. Each of these skeins is 45 grams. They're 130 yards, and it is yarn that they take, I'm pretty sure it's leftovers, it's lace weight yarn that they then twist 2 plies together, and then they take 3 of those 2 plies and then braid them together to make a 6 ply. And it is such a round yarn. It's 100% Rambouillet wool. It is so soft for a Rambouillet. I think because it's those lace weights that are then braided together, it is just such a plump and soft and beautiful yarn. And it's showing off the textures in this lace panel so well. So this pattern has, you can see down here, it has 2 cables on either side with a then lace panel down the middle. And then down the very center is another little 1/1 cable. So we have a cable, a lace, cable, cable, lace, cable. You build this as a drop shoulder. So you knit your back panel with no shape, no texture. It's just plain. It does have this shoulder detail where you do your increases, which is really beautiful. And then after you knit your back piece, you come back, you knit your front piece, you knit it down until your shoulder, your armhole is the opening that you want. And while you're knitting this front piece flat, you're also working on the increases for the V-neck. You then can join in the body, work all the way down. I then went back last night. I've been working on the collar for a few days. So it's a V-neck collar, 1x1 ribbing. It is supposed to be a folded over collar, but I really didn't want the extra bulk there. I love a V-neck. And I looked at some of the other, there was one other tester I think that did it as a not folded over collar, and I just loved how that looked. And I was working on this last night, and I was continuing on the point past where I would, if I was not going to do the, like, words are hard today. I was continuing on like I was going to do the folded collar. And I could just feel it in the back of my brain being like, I don't know if I want a folded collar. So then I was a few rounds past it and I was like, no, I just need to stick with my gut. I don't want a folded collar. So I ripped back, did my tubular setup rows, and then did my tubular bind off on this neck. There's also quite a lot of dog and cat hair on it because my animals are quite in a shedding part of their season right now. So I've worked on that. I've also gone and picked up the first sleeve. I'm now working on the cuff. The pattern does have options for either a tapered sleeve or a balloon sleeve. So I'm doing the non-tapered balloon sleeve because that's what Samantha has in her project photo, or like her sample photo, and I fell in love with it. So that is what I wanted. It's been great for meetings and just like reading knitting, like very mindless because there's no decreases or anything. It's just stockinette in the round. So it's been a really great sleeve to work on. But this morning I did the decreases, and now I'm working on the ribbing. So it's 3 inches of ribbing here. And then the body, I'm at where the body says to stop and you're supposed to start your ribbing. But I wanted to go back and add this collar to see kind of where it was sitting. And then I'm going to finish both the sleeves, I think, before I add this final ribbing down here at the bottom, because I just want to make sure that I like where it fits. And definitely adding the collar like kind of cinches it up a bit higher. And then once the sleeves are on, the sleeves might drag it down a little bit more. So I just want to finish those parts before I come back and do the ribbing here. I'm technically at the part where I'm supposed to start the ribbing, and it's 3 inches of ribbing. So it looks really short on here. It's like right at the natural waist on this little bust form, and then 3 inches of ribbing down from there. But this is a little bit better view of the texture. So we have the cable, a lace, some cables, lace cable. So this is all increases down the front. You come back, pick up this collar. It's been a really beautiful sweater to work on. Like I mentioned, I've been loving this yarn. It's a DK weight. Samantha wrote this pattern to hold 2 lace weights together. It's designed in Emiak yarn, lace weight held together, or Mayak. So I substituted to just do a DK weight, and I had 12 skeins of this to start with, so a little under 600 grams, because each of these are 45 grams, not 50. And I have these 3 skeins left. This is the skein that I have that's connected to the current cuff. And this is what I have left over after I bound off for that collar yesterday. So I have this for a cuff, and then this much left to finish off the second sleeve, and then the ribbing at the bottom hem. So we'll see how it goes. That's also why I want to finish the sleeve, because depending on how much, I couldn't tell you exactly how much I use. I think it was a about a skein or so, maybe a little over a skein for the first sleeve. I don't remember if I ended up doing a split splice anywhere in the sleeve, because I've kind of been bumping around. I would work on the collar a little bit, come back to the sleeve when I was in meetings, so I was kind of working on 2 sections at the same time. So I don't know exactly how much yarn was used on a sleeve, but that's why once I finish this sleeve, I'm then going to go over, start this second sleeve, get it going, get it done, and then I'll just be able to finish off the body with, you know, either finishing off with what I have, or if I have enough, I'll stop at that 3 inches that it's called for. But yeah, this has been such a joy to work on. I really love testing for Samantha. Her patterns, by the time they get to the tester experience, it's basically done. I mean, I've tested for Samantha a lot, and like trying to like rack my brain for like any pattern that had like major things. That there's never been like a major thing when I've tested for her. I much prefer patterns that come to me in the PDF layout that they're going to be when they're done. It's just such a great testing experience. I mean, I really just feel like I'm previewing the project for her. I'm just someone that's working through her idea, her genius idea, working it up in just a different yarn, and then just showing it off so that when it releases, people can see lots of different options. I feel like it's a great testing experience. It's not a heavy labor lift. It's just such a privilege. So, as always, thank you, Samantha, for letting me test. I was thinking earlier this week, I was like, Samantha's designs are the ones that I knit the most and wear the most. So I'm very excited to have this in my arsenal. This is one I literally was thinking about it, like I may just keep this shape because I love the drop shoulder. It's fitting really well, and I love the v-neck. I may just keep this drop shoulder v-neck shape and just omit the lace and knit this again. I'm loving the DK weight. Once I bound off this collar last night, I was like, I love this. So it's been a lot of fun. I don't know what else to say. It's been a great sweater to test. I hope that you love it, and I hope that you follow Samantha and follow me, because I'll be posting when it's done. I'm excited to get finished objects photos of this and wear it to work. I'm gonna wear this all the time. I love the color. I think it's so gorgeous and beautiful, and people aren't gonna think that I knit it, and I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I knit this sweater. Thank you. So I love it so much. So that's the first work in progress that I have. It's the one that's been getting the most attention because I have a deadline. I have 1 week left to finish a sleeve, finish this cuff, and then finish the body hem. I think I can do it. The sleeve will be easy. I'll work on that this weekend. It's honestly going to be the 3 inches of ribbing on this body that's going to take a little bit of love and a great TV binge. So if you have something that's great for binging while knitting, let me know. Because basically no other project is getting touched until this is done. Because I feel the deadline, and I also want this. I want this very badly. So yes, my study session, be on the lookout for it. It's so fun. It's such a great sweater. So the next project that we'll talk about is living in this Tanny Casey bag. It's this sheep bag. This is one of my favorites. And this is my Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta. I started this very late December, and I'm very excited to have this. I am knitting, I think, it's not on my project page. I think it's the size 5. It's whatever the 52-inch size is, I believe. And I am doing a slight modification on this. So, if you don't know, the Miles shirt jacket is a Aran weight, long cardigan kind of jacket. The yarn it's designed in is the Wool Dreamers Manchalope, so that unspun. But what I opted to use is Lucky Tweed by Kelborn Woolens. because it is a woolen spun yarn. So it is very airy, lots of air. It's thick, it should be warm, but it's very lightweight because it doesn't have like a very thick twist. I am currently on 4 skeins caked up. This is skein 3, and then this is skein 4. I haven't started skein 4. I have 7 skeins total, which should be plenty of yardage based on the yardage requirements. But I will admit I'm a little anxious about it. So this pattern is also a drop shoulder and has a similar structure as the study session. So you cast on the back, you knit down for a very long time because it's a very long shoulder seam. You then come back, you have this shoulder seam here. You come back and you pick up your right front and your left front. You knit down, doing increases to build this V-neck, and then you're supposed to join under the arms, and then you have your cardigan to knit back and forth. However, I am not knitting this back and forth. I have added a steek panel here at the front. So I have added, it's very hard to see, I added 7 steek stitches with 1 purl stitch up the middle. So this is the stitch I will cut. So I am now just knitting this in the round until it's time to do the bottom hems. So my big modification is I'm steeking this. So I knit it flat everywhere I was supposed to, and then once you joined under the arms, I added those steek stitches. I added 7, I believe. Yeah, 7. So 1 purl stitch down the middle and 3 knit stitches. So what I'll end up doing is I'll knit the body all the way down. I'll do the hems. You knit the hems, you do like back hem and then front hem shaping because they are separate. I think the back has like a drop hem, or there's short rows. There's some sort of, oh yes, okay, I'm looking at the photo. So in the back, there's like a back kind of U, and then in the front, they both have that kind of U shape. So you do some short rows and shaping at the bottom hem to kind of get those nice down effects. So I'll knit flat for those sections. Before I cut the steek, I'm going to come back, pick up the button band, knit the button band, and then I will secure the steek panel. I'm probably going to use my sewing machine, sew up probably with a zigzag stitch, and then cut. And then I'll secure it down on the inside of that button band. So I've done most of the shaping here at the top. So now it's just stockinette in the round. It's quite a bit of stockinette in the round to go. And then the sleeves. And that's why I'm a little anxious about the amount of yarn I have. I mean, we're at like 2.5 skeins here. And I think I'm probably going to double this to finish the body before doing the hem. So, I mean, if the body uses 4 and then the sleeves need 3, I think I'll probably be okay. We'll see. I've redone the math. The yardage should be fine, but I'm still a little anxious at how quickly I feel like I've run through the skeins so far. I mean, this is at a very loose gauge. I'm knitting this on so I knit it flat. I go down a needle size when I knit flat. So the flat sections, sorry, I'm losing a stitch here. So in the round, I'm knitting on a US 9, 5.5 millimeter. So when I was knitting flat, it's on a US 8. This pattern is at like a I did get gauge. It's at a 15 stitches over 4-inch gauge. So I mean, they're very large. But I do have my swatch, and it gets nice and plumpy and lovely. So I tested a couple different sizes here. So I have this swatch that I can rip out as well. I did do the fake swatch in the round. I love this method a lot more than carrying the yarn behind. But this is so soft. It's so light. And I'm very excited. I feel like I don't have a ton of notes about it right now. The shaping was fun. No big details with how to do the shaping. I thought it was pretty straightforward. I love this. I think it's so cool how you get these like shoulder details, and that's just from increases. It's so cool how it can make like a defined section of knitting going in a different direction. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I feel like it's very lumpy bumpy right now. It's basically just stockinette in the round. I kind of have this is kind of my mindless project right now. I mean, I have socks, but this is a really great project to just have when I don't want to think, because it is just mindless stockinette at this point. So it hasn't gotten a ton of work as I've been focusing mostly on my study session. But I just have seen like the Knitting PT, she has one of these and wears it, and it just looks like it's a really comfy cardigan to throw on. I know it says a jacket, but I think I'm probably going to wear it more like a cardigan. By the time I finish it, the season will be done. But I think even just like as a house cardigan, it'll be really pretty. And this is the colorway Rust. I was a little worried, like, oh, maybe it's a little too orange, but I think the tweed is really beautiful in it, and I think it almost leans as like a brownie orange, like it's a nice copper. So I think it'll be a nice like neutral but pop of color kind of cardigan to have. So this is my Miles shirt jacket. Still have quite a bit to go on it, but it'll probably be this is probably what I'll focus on once my study session is done. It'll be my sweater focus. And it's quickly outgrowing this bag. Hence why I need more sweater size bags, because it's too big. So my next project is also living. It's not also living. This project is living in a Beautiful Sister bag. It's one of their bags that has the handle that can go up. I like to pop it down like this so I have a little bucket. But this is the Lewsky hood. This is a pattern from the Moon and Turtle book from Pom Pom. And this is going to be a hood, a type of baklava hood type pattern that is going to match my Eastwind jacket. So I'm knitting this as part of the From a Book Mal that Needles at the Ready, Fiber Hustle, and Michael from Piece for Piece are hosting. So I did a Zoom early in January to talk about the patterns we want to make from our books, and made pretty good progress on this. So it has a folded hem here at the bottom. So you cast on, and then you're supposed to do a provisional cast on, and then go back and pick up and knit them together. I didn't do that. I did not do a provisional cast on. I just cast on like normal, and then when it was time to do the folded hem, I just knit into that cast on row and knit the 2 stitches together. And even that I find very finicky. I'd rather just like whip stitch together. But then we've just been knitting in the round up until a certain amount, and now I'm supposed to be starting the hood shaping. So I'm literally at the point to start like the hood opening, and I haven't done it because I'm supposed to be putting some stitches on hold, and I haven't gone to get something to put the stitches on hold for. So I literally just put this back in the bag and I haven't worked on it in a while. So I'm going to do that today because I want this. So I found this hood very interesting, and the reason I wanted to knit it is, one, I already own the pattern, and two, it also has this face shield that can come up over your mouth and nose, which when it gets really cold here, I thought would be really nice. So I haven't decided what color yarn that will be, but the yarn I am using for this fabric is the leftovers from my East Wind jacket. So the yarns that I'm currently using, they're almost run out, so they're a little sad looking. But we have that West Yorkshire Spinners Jacobs DK in the colorway medium gray. Here, this is the second skein that I will cake up. And then I'm using that Rowan Kid Silk Haze in the colorway Smoke. So I'm holding these two together. It's the exact same colors that my East Wind jacket was. So this pattern is written also for like an Aran weight yarn. So I'm holding a DK and the mohair together. I made sure I got gauge. It is written for 3 sizes and I'm doing the medium size. I did measure my head and I'm doing the size that they recommend. And I'm using a US 6 for the bottom and then a US 7 for that main fabric, and then use a smaller needle for like the edging around the hood opening. So I will have to find a yarn to use for the internal. It should also be like a worsted to Aran weight for that internal face shield. I don't know what yarn I want to use because I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be a superwash, because I'm torn, because since it is going to be like very close to my neck, even over my mouth and over my nose, I want something pretty soft. But if the point is to keep my face warm, I feel like I shouldn't necessarily use a superwash, because superwash can like kind of hold on to the moisture. So if I'm breathing into the wool here, it could get kind of wet and then that could make it kind of cold. But I would need to find a non-superwash yarn that's still pretty soft to be this close to my face. So I'm a little uncertain. And I want it to pair well with this. So I don't know if I necessarily want like a pop of color, or do I want something neutral? I'm still really trying to decide. This right here is like my worsted DK kind of single skeins. Maybe this could work. It's kind of boring. It's not really a pop of color, but I do have a couple skeins of Quarry worsted from Lobby Enemy. I find this pretty soft. It would be a neutral. It would be a different color for sure, but a nice neutral. So maybe this could work. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to go digging in to my stash once I get there. So, but I mean, that part you just kind of, we're going to come back. We're going to pick up on the inside so it'll be secure, and then it's just like a ribbing. So excited for this. It'll be nice to have a hood because, one, my East Wind jacket, it just kind of has like a wide neck opening and it doesn't have a hood, but I feel like it's a very warm jacket, so I would wear it on pretty cold days. So having something to keep my head warm will be nice. Also, I think this will just be a nice versatile accessory because I have one of those like winter coats where it's like the puffer inside and then you have an outside on the days where it's really, really cold. But most of the time I just wear like the inside puffer jacket, but the inside piece doesn't have a hood. So having something like this that I could also wear with like my jacket when I don't have like the parka outside part on would be helpful. And yeah. Also some days, you know, because my hair is so short, I don't want to wear a hat because it makes my head makes my hair all flat because of my curls. So this will also be nice because I could put it on, put it over my head, but not squish my curls. So, and it's been fun to knit on. It's mostly been stockinette up until this point. Now I'm at the part where I have to do some shaping, and because of that I haven't worked on it a little bit. But it's exciting. So I have 2 more knitting WIPs, and that'll keep me up. If you saw my goals video, I want to keep a handful of WIPs at a time. So I have my study session, my Mal shirt jacket, my hood, and then we have these last 2. This one is a pair of socks. I am working on my Woolens and Nosh Advent skein. So if you had saw in some of my weekly recaps in December, I started doing a muscle burrow for Shane out of this, and then at some point I was like, I'm just gonna frog it. I don't want to do the muscle burrow, and I wanted to do socks. I saw other people doing socks, and that's what I wanted to do. So I frogged the muscle burrow. I've started over. I've been doing socks, and these have mostly just been card knitting or meeting knitting. That's what I'm kind of reserving my socks for this year. I am not trying to like crank them out at a super fast pace. I just want socks on the needles so that I have an easy, mindless, small project when I need one. So do you ever have so many words in your brain and you just can't get them out of your mouth in a coherent method? That is what this is. So this skein, these advents come as 2 50-gram skeins split into 2 balls and then a mini skein. This currently is a hot mess. I have yarns going everywhere. So I'm knitting both of the socks at the same time. Here is sock 1. I'm knitting them on 9-inch circulars. I'm doing 60 stitches. I did 15 rounds of 2x2 ribbing at the cuff. I knit 10 stripes on the leg. I have then done a shadow wrap heel in the contrast color, and now I am knitting on the leg. 60 stitches. I'm knitting these for Shane, my husband. This is sock 1. It's great. The colors are so fun. I love how I'm like very robotic now. Loving how they're knitting up. I love the space. It's a Targhee superwash nylon base. It's from Woolens and Nosh. I love it. I love it so much. For the second sock, I am halfway through the shadow wrap heel. So I need to finish this part of the sock today so that this is also good for on the go, because right now it is not. So I have this stitch stopper. They're cute little socks. And I have a little Christmas gnome from Simply Serving on here. I just think he matches this vibe of these socks, so he's staying on them until they're done, even though Christmas is done. This gnome is still happy, so he is staying on here until it's done. So yes, these are my socks. On the go, stockinette, easy socks. I need to finish the heel on the second one today so that these are just good to go for this upcoming week. I'm just keeping them in this bag that it all came in. We're on to the last knitting work in progress. Yes. That I have. This is my Anesidora Shawl by Lindsay Fowler. This is a pattern that's written for Advents. It is an at-home project only. So I'm using an old A Homespun House Advent. I have all the mini skeins in this shoebox in the order that I'm using them in. And I have finished one repeat. So I've done all 24 colors once. And I've started on the second repeat. So from here to here is all 24 colors. And then I've started my second repeat of colors. So this is a fingering weight project. I'm holding this, a homespun house brown, as my main color, and then striping each advent color through. I'm planning to do, I've done 24, I want to do 48, and then see how wide this is, how long it is. Depending on there, I'll decide if I want to do more increases or start the decreases. This is really fun to work on. All the rows with this main color are just knitting with a little bit of increasing at the end. And then each of these contrast color rows is a very easy pattern. So one row is like a knit, and then you do some knit togethers and yarn overs in order to get this like star stitch. It's really fun. The pattern is written to have fringe. I am not doing the fringe, so I am just doing weave and steven as I go. And then the only other thing I changed is you're supposed to be doing like a make one left or a make one right to do the increase, and I initially had started this and the I-cord was too tight, and I thought it was because of the increase. So I started doing a knit front back instead of that increase, and I was still having, you can see here at the bottom a little bit where it's a little curved in. So what I started to do, you can see now it's less curved. After each contrast color, what I did with the main color is I'm knitting that I-cord twice once I switch back to this main color. So I do the knit 3 like you do with an I-cord, and then I'm sliding them back to the left hand needle and doing that knit 3 again. So it's just adding one extra I-cord row every 6 rounds or so, just so it gives it a little more stretch and it's not like bending in on itself. I don't know if it's my tension or with the color changing, but I have found that to be helpful to make sure that it's not curving in, because I was seeing that the first time I started knitting this, and that's when I ended up ripping it out, starting over, changing the type of increase to that knit front back, and now I've added that extra I-cord row, and I think it's really nice and straight with a little bit of, it's a little curved at the end, but like this one's hard for me to pick up just because, one, it's in this kind of awkward box. So I'm not always by this box to work on it. 2, I've just been focusing a lot on my study session. And then 3, I can't like do it on the go. So this might be a project that I need to dedicate, like, I'm debating kind of how I want to do some of my knitting. I'm thinking I might go back to like cycling through my projects for a certain number of hours. Like, okay, I'm going to work on this for 4 hours, and then like this is my focus for that. And then once I'm done with it, I can go on to my shirt jacket, focus on that for 4 hours to kind of like get some progress. But just with this focus of the study session recently, I have like only been focusing on that versus kind of alternating between projects. So I think maybe once that's done, I can add that little, that like cycling back. Otherwise, what I might do is like, you know, maybe I dedicate 30 minutes in the morning with my coffee to this shawl project. Because it is nice to like add the colors in as you go, but it's a stay-at-home project because you knit like 2 colors with the contrast, then I have to cut it. And then I just like have to have this box with me all the time to knit on this. So those are all of my knitting works in progress. So I just have a few more to show you. Specifically, I have an embroidery project and a spinning project that I'd like to show you. If you saw in my goals video, a couple of my goals are I want to actively have an embroidery project and a spinning project on the go, in the hopes to actively be using the clubs that I'm subscribed to. So one of the clubs that I'm subscribed to is the Cozy Blue Embroidery Club. So I started working on one of the kits that I'd been sent. I actually had a chunk of time in January. It was probably a week or so where I was having a lot of like hand pain. It was like specifically in my thumb. We did go rock climbing and things like that, and it got really exasperated after one night of rock climbing, I think, because you do some like gripping, holding with your thumb. So I think I just needed to rest it, stretch it out, give it some time. So knitting just like wasn't super comfortable. And so that's why I don't have a ton of finished objects, but that also gave me a good chunk of time where I was just kind of focusing on this embroidery project for about a week, and I was really having a lot of fun. Because the embroidery does not use that same kind of like, it was my left hand. And so when I embroider, I usually just hold with my left hand. Like I'm just holding this. And then a lot of it is with my right hand, but it also isn't the same like pressure pushing for the thumb because it's mostly just like grabbing a needle. So it didn't exasperate it in the same way. Anyway, all that to say is I've been working on this embroidery kit and I'm very excited. So this is an embroidery cozy blue embroidery kit. This is her club from November. So it has this classic stork scissors and then some pretty flowers behind it. So I've done like all the outlining of like the needle and the stork. I've basically done this whole half. So then I did all the flowers and the stars in the background and the French knot. So now I just have all like the background to do on this other side. It's been really fun to work on. I just think embroidery scratches a different side of my brain, and it's nice that like you can sit down for 30 minutes and really see progress at the end. You know, you can like visually see what you've done. So this is just sitting in the living room by my stuff. I have this little basket. I got this basket from IKEA. It's literally perfect for embroidery. So all the cozy blue designs are designed for like a 6-inch embroidery hoop. So I'm embroidering in a 7-inch hoop, and that's like perfect for in here. Yeah, it's just been really fun to work on. Here's my back, if you're curious. So I alternate between framing these in hoops, or I have some like actual picture frames that I bought with a circle cut out. So I don't know exactly how I'll frame this yet, but it's been really fun. I love her clubs, so that's why I'm subscribed. It's a good price, and eventually I'll have like just an entire wall of embroidery. I picture like a gallery wall of my embroidery kits done. So that is that project. It's been a lot of fun. And then I have one spinning project going. So I started this in January. I wanted to do a combo spin. I think I have pictures, so I'm going to put them up because maybe it's a little easier to see. But I'm doing a combo spin of It's Into the World for one of them. And then I pulled out Nest Fiber Club in the colorway Prairie Skies. This is a Polworth, and this is like the fiber. So it's like orange and blues. So this is the first fiber I pulled. And then I also pulled out Into the World Decidedly Soul. This is a Falkland from my June club. So I've decided to do a combo spin with these two together. And I have no idea if this is even going to work out. I paired them together because there are the Blitz bits of like where they both have like these blues that kind of match. And then this one has like this earthy orange. And this has, you know, it has orange, but it's a little brighter. But they're kind of like sisters. And I kind of did this, like, I kind of paired the fiber together, pretended to twist it, and I was like, well, I think it'll work. So we'll see. I mean, what I'm doing right now is I'm spinning the Nest Fiber Club, this really bright blue. And the reason I paired it with this Into the World one is I wanted to tone some of this brightness down by using some of this moodier color. I mean, I feel like they're in the same color family. This is just darker than this. So I've been spinning this first half. I've been doing it on my e-spinner, so this is where I'm at. So you can tell it's very bright. And then I plan to take the 4 ounces of this one and spin it, and then I'm going to apply them together. I don't know. This is a little out of my... Is this going to work? Are they going to work? I don't know. If you think I've made a massive mistake, let me know. I mean, if anything, I can finish plying this. I can ply, or I can spin this one. I can do a little ply back, and then if I'm like, wow, these really do not work together, I could pull out another 4 ounces, spin it together, or I could do a chain ply, or I could split it and spin it on itself. That would be the most annoying thing. I think they'll be okay because I did, like I said, I had the pictures, I laid them out. They have similarities of like the orange and the blues. This one just has some darker purples and a little bit of that orange, and this one has a little bit of green, and this one is a little brighter. This also has some purple. We're playing. That's where, like, sometimes I just play with spinning. I don't exactly know what I'm doing. You know, they have similar colors. I'm hoping it'll work out. I'm hoping it's not going to be a disaster. Anyway, those are all my works in progress. That's everything I have currently going on my needles and on my spinning wheel. So I hope I was able to keep you company, provide a little bit of inspiration today. Yeah, let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments. And as a reminder, we are doing a giveaway this episode for this Salty Blonde skein of yarn. Make sure you are subscribed, fill out the Google form. Know in the comments I will not let you know if you won down there. And I also not ask for any money. So you get this for free. I will send it to you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope I was able to just keep you cozy in this little corner of the internet while we hung out today. And as always, I hope you've put a little bit of love into every stitch of your making, and I will see you again in a few weeks. Thanks for hanging out with me today.